You're now requested to kindly mark your attendance. All right. Um, I hope you guys are done with your work assigned yesterday. I hope doing the question answers was easy after thoroughly going through the text of newspaper reports. Give me a thumbs up if you have. If you've done your work, quickly give me a thumbs up. What about you, Hamail? Good job, Ariba. What about you, Hamail? Hamail wouldn't say a word.
Sorry, ma'am. Can you repeat your question?
I'm asking if you guys are done with yesterday's question answers for the newspaper reports.
Ma'am, I do all of my work on Saturday.
Oh, okay, you pile it up. Okay, no problem. Okay, now since we were doing newspaper reports, I thought, and we have already done another comprehension text on Sun Swallow, I just wanted to have a little change, but sticking to the same routine. We've done two comprehension texts, so now it was time for a written exercise, written activity. Since we just did newspaper reports, so using that idea, I wanted to share report writing with you guys. Now, remember in your paper, in your writing paper, you have two questions, as I told you earlier on when I gave you the orientation for the CIE O-level exams. I told you that um, your written paper for the writing paper has two questions. The first question is based on directions given to you, and you have to write a particular piece of writing. It can be a report, it can be an account, it can be an informal, it can be a formal letter, it can be a speech, or it can be an advertisement. Mostly it is report, account, letter, speech. Till for the past 10 years, 10 to 12 years, account has come only once. Oh, sorry, advertisement writing has come only once. So mostly we focus on report, letter, speech, and account writing. Out of these, today we will be covering report writing since we have recently read two reports on NASA catching the sun probe. Okay, keeping that in mind, I have prepared today's lesson and the PowerPoint slides for you today. Okay. The purpose of today's session is that by the end of this session, participants, that is, you guys, will have acquired report writing skills. You'll be able to differentiate between different types of reports, be able to list the characteristics of a good report and steps to be followed to write a good report. You'll be able to appreciate the different report structures and agree on a standard structure. Consolidate your data interpretation skills. Okay. This is how we're going to go about today's session. We'll have the introduction, definition, the types of reports, the different steps to follow for a good and effective report, structure of a report according to the CIE, and finally, the conclusion of today's lesson. This presentation is intended to equip you with the basic skills of communicating information to others without necessarily the need for meetings. Because at times in life, you will not have to attend a meeting, but for a certain situation, you might have to write it down for the seniors or for someone else who will ask you to explain the situation. Effective reports give a professional image and get others to take your work seriously. Remember, when you effectively write a report, people, it is considered a written document, a written record of whatever events have unfolded. So it makes people take you professionally. It gives off a professional idea of your personality. Now, what is a report? A report is a prepared account of what happened, whatever events occurred about a particular event, presented in formal and organized format, backed with some evidence. Remember, the tone, the language that you will use is going to be formal. You will not be using any colloquial language. You will not use any informal tone. You will not use any slang words. You are going to remain very formal when writing a report. Organized format. You will not be haphazard. Your events will be organized in a sequence and backed with some evidence. You're going to provide facts for whatever you're going to say. It may be a single report or a series of them, however required. Now, coming to the types of reports, the first one is the academic report. Academic reports are usually detailed and, in most cases, targeting the academicians. They are of high content, and the producer and reader are at the same level or at a little different. Professional reports. Professional reports are for informing and persuading people as well as initiating change. They may be detailed depending on the targeted audience taste of the sponsor. In most cases, they have a mixed audience of those who may understand the in depth of the subject content and non technical people like the decision makers. These are basically used at offices, at the government level or at the business level, where surveys are taken from people, and the people who are involved, they are going to tell the hierarchy about what are the norms, what are the likes and what are the dislikes. Now, you must have noticed how often when you are on Facebook, you are asked to take a poll where you have to, give your suggestions about whether you like a particular thing or you dislike it, okay? Or simply about how often you get to see a particular, let's say, you get to check on a particular website, okay, or and what particular products are being sold mostly from that site. So the company is going to give whoever is responsible in that company, he's going to give a report to his seniors saying that such and such age group of people come to our site and they buy such and such products. So the company is going to take initiative, the company is going to take measures to bring out more and more of that stuff because now you guys are the targeted audience. So basically, there are two kinds of reports. There are the academic reports, which have something or the other to do with academics, that is, with education. It could be a report by your teacher about you, and she might submit it to the principal saying that, let's say, Ariba is a well-performing student, or whatever kind of how she is in her academics, how she is in her behavior, how she is in overall her personality. Okay, so we have to at times give a report about you guys, especially before we conduct a PTM. Okay, so we teachers, we exchange our notes basically about each and every child before a PTM takes place. Okay, now, and I just explained what professional reports are. Now, what is a good report? The following comments have been made by senior managers about what they look for in a good report. Assess the comments
Ma'am,
and evaluate them. Yes, Ariba.
Ma'am, Shakar Kali write in the chat box like a report card.
Like a report card. Um, Report card, Shakar, it will not be considered. See, it is a reflection of what you have attempted in your paper. So, yes and no. Over here, when we talk about a report, it is like in detail whatever has happened. Report card, yes, is also since it is reporting what you have done, what you have attempted in your exam, it is reported back to you. Yes, we might consider it a report as well. Yes, it is a kind of a reflection of your academic record. Good idea. I give you a thumbs up for that. Okay, assess the comments and evaluate them. Um, what do you look for in a good report? You assess. Exactly, Shakar. Exactly. Whether or not a child, whether or not the person who was taking the test, he studied well for the exam, whether or not that person, exactly when it comes to personality, whether or not he put in any effort, because see, or however much content the child could understand out of his lessons. Okay. Yeah.
मम्मा मैम कह रही है कि हमारी ना वॉइस थोड़ी सी ग्लिच हो रही है ना तो आपकी आवाज पीछे से आती है
आप
मेरी
ऐसा करो, फिर
क्लास
वो
में
जो सामने वाली कमरा है ना, वहां पर पंखा लगा के चले जाओ, ठीक है? Okay. A report must meet the needs of the readers and answer the questions in their mind. Okay. Now, needs of the reader. This is very important. Oh, wait, let me take a nice color. Okay. The report must meet the needs of the reader. Whatever obviously, what will be the needs of the reader? The questions that will be there in the minds of the reader regarding that particular event should be answered by the report. The report must be at the right level of the readers. Remember, this is important. If you have ever heard the hadith of Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that whenever you're speaking to the people, speak in a tone, in a way which is equivalent to their level. So if I speak to a child, let's say my 5-year-old daughter, I will not speak in an intellectual way with her, will I? Will I be using floral, difficult words with her? Will I?
No, ma'am.
Obviously not,
No.
because she will not be able to understand those difficult words. But if I am talking to, let's say, the principal, or let's say the coordinator, will I baby talk with them?
No.
No.
No, obviously not, because it will be considered rude, it will be considered unprofessional on my account. Okay. So the thing is, the kind of people you are talking to, you have to maintain your language, your vocabulary, the way you speak to them accordingly. Okay. Now
I
the
can
tone.
only speak
Exactly.
I can only speak proper English in like English class or at home.
It's absolutely.
Everywhere else I have to speak really slowly.
Exactly, it happens that way. You, at times, you have to slow down your pace of speaking, the pace with which you speak. You have to at times control it, because people cannot understand. Remember, Shakar, when you came in last year, you spoke so fluently that people in the class, they couldn't grasp a single word.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now you have learned to, you have conditioned yourself to speaking at a slower pace, so that each and every word that you pronounce can be understood by the people who are around you.
Yeah, I don't do it at home though.
Yeah, you still speak in a flow. Okay. Now the thing is, while writing the report, you have to consider in mind the right level, the level of the reader or the person you are addressing. So you will not be using baby talk for adults and intellectual talk for young children. Okay. Now, some readers have an in-depth knowledge of the subject, while others may be decision makers without specialized technical knowledge. So the report might be based on two people. The first one who could be reading might be the decision makers, people who are taking a decision based on your report. And the second kind of people would be those who are specialized in that field and they have the technical knowledge of the subject. Now the decision makers might not be specialized and the specialized people might not be decision makers. Okay, so keep in mind that you have to cater to all the kind of people who are reading your report. A report must have a clear, logical structure with clear signposting to show where the ideas are leading. They should not be, your ideas should not be confusing. They should be, very clearly be written down. A report must give a good first impression. That is, you must have heard of the quotation or the proverb, first impression is the last impression. The first time you meet somebody, the first few words that you write of a book make you want to read the book till the end. Isn't it so? If the first few words of the book do not grasp your attention, you do not wish to continue till the end of the book. Similarly, when you joined pre-O levels and you came across new teachers, there were certain teachers who left a very good impression on you the first time you met them, and you were like, "Oh, this teacher I really like, and I'm sure that throughout the year I'm going to enjoy taking her classes." There could be a teacher whom you thought of initially, "Oh my, taking her lessons will be very tough on me. I wonder how I'm going to continue throughout the year." Okay? So the first impression really matters. Presentation is very important. Yes, while writing, your presentation really matters. Now, how you present something, that is your handwriting neat and tidy? Is your work flawed? Or have you um, made amends throughout your work? Some of those impressions were okay, right. So remember, as a student, um, it is your duty to write your work neatly, present it in a neater, cleaner, tidier manner so that it leaves a good impression on the examiner. Automatically, once you are writing in a neat and tidy handwriting, the examiner feels elated and he wishes to read onto your work without feeling disgusted, or not disgusted would be a harsh word, without feeling prejudiced, I would say, towards your work. A report must not make assumptions about the reader's understanding. Okay, you are not going to assume what your reader whether your reader is understanding the content or not. Okay, all writers need to apply the so what test. So what test kya hota hai? Explain why something is a good idea. Okay, apply the so what test. So what test is, if simply, if this happens, what will happen as a result? Okay, and explain why something is a good idea. You have to give out why something, if for example in a report you are asked to give suggestions as to how whether the school needs a bigger, better gymnasium, you are going to explain that yes, we need a bigger and a better gymnasium at our school. Okay, now why is it a good idea? You have to state those facts. Okay. Reports must be written in good English using short sentences with correct grammar and spelling. This is very important. This point is very important. Using short sentences. Learn to give full stops. Learn to put full stops very quickly. Okay. Keep your sentences short. The longer the sentence becomes, okay, the more your sentence turns from simple to compound, from compound to complex compound, the idea becomes twisted, and the main idea that you want to present might be lost. Correct grammar, using the correct tenses, using the correct register is very important. And third of all, your spellings. Poor spellings leave a poor impression on the reader. Reports should have a time reference. Okay, that is when something took place. Steps to follow for a good and effective report. Define your aim. What is the purpose of writing? Collect your ideas. Make sure that you have your ideas about the topic collected someplace, making a mind map or taking notes of whatever points you're going to cover. Okay? It is important. Mind mapping, jotting down your ideas before writing. Remember, it takes marks are allotted for it. Okay, so once you read your basic question, quickly make a mind map. Okay, we have done mind maps earlier on in grade 6 as well. We have done them previously. There are multiple ways of jotting down your ideas according to the topic. Okay, so you can choose any of them, and with time, inshallah, I will teach or revise them with you as well. Select the material and decide how to show the significance of your facts. Now, out of those ideas, you're going to select the most relevant ones, the ones you think you can provide, strong facts of. Structure your ideas. Now, give a structure to your ideas, how you're going to organize them, how you're going to present them, and then start on report writing. General structure. You have the title, you have the introduction, then comes the main body and the conclusion, which may include certain recommendations. Remember, I will post the format separately as well in your Google Classroom, okay? A checklist to use while editing a report. How much are we left with? Oh, we have plenty to do. If I am unable to cover all of it today, I am going to cover the rest tomorrow. Okay, so don't worry. A checklist to use while editing a report looks at the following areas. The purpose. This is how we, the examiners, check your work. The purpose. Have you clarified the reason why you were supposed to write the report? Have you identified your reader's needs and characteristics? Have you included the main points? Are these points supported by evidence? Is the information relevant to the purpose? That is, whatever information, whatever directions were given to you, have you followed those instructions? Accuracy. Are there spelling mistakes? Are the references correct in the text and at the end? Are abbreviations consistent? Have you consistently used abbreviations? That is, if you were using Mr., did you write dot at the end? Or did you write MR once, M capital, capital R, etc.? Then the fourth way how we assess your report is the language. Is it clear, direct, easy to read? Will the readers understand it? Will its tone help you achieve the purpose? That is, were you formal? Were you polite or impolite? Can unnecessary words, phrases be deleted? Is the grammar and punctuation correct? Is there any repetition? Now, newspaper report. To begin with, newspaper reports must have a headline, just like we saw in the recent two newspaper reports that we read. Headlines are a kind of summary in note form, leaving out unnecessary words. Their aim is to attract reader interest in the minimum amount of space and indicate the attitude the report will adopt. NASA humbled as sun catchers drop ball. Remember, that was the headline of report 2, and that determined how the report was going to continue. Headlines tend to be okay. This we can leave out. If in case we need to do the what you call it, newspaper reports, we might come back to these. Okay. Difference between other forms of reports with that of newspaper report, they follow no specific order. Newspaper reports follow a chronological order given above. Chronological means according to the dates, according to the date and time. We will not talk about like if you saw in the newspaper reports, one was from August 2004, the second one was September 2004.
Time order.
Yes, this is basically the comparison between regular reports and newspaper reports. Secondly, newspaper reports do not involve any emotional responses or personal views of the reporter or any direct address to the reader. Okay, newspaper reports are unbiased. They do not cater to the reporter's emotions. The reporter will not talk about, I feel pity for the NASA experts that they couldn't catch the probe. I was devastated to see how the probe went crashing into the earth. Okay, you do not share your emotions as a as a reporter.
You're not allowed to like show your opinion.
Exactly. Secondly,
And
newspaper
ma'am,
report.
what about the 5 W's?
I'm coming to that. On the other hand, accounts may have personal responses of the viewer. Now, oh, ये कहाँ से आ गया भाई? Can you go down? Okay. Let me open up this other bit and I will show you the CIE format. I would like to take just a few minutes extra of today's lesson. So Ariba, please do not interrupt when I say that I am taking few minutes extra. Okay? I will be posting this page on your Google Classroom as well. Um, this was basically, or what we can do is we can come to this. Today was basically an introduction to report writing. Tomorrow, I can come to this report writing sample and format for the CIE, in which we will cover a sample report from the CIE that one child wrote in his CIE exams, and we will study it based on the content that we have covered today, and then we're going to examine it, read the examiner's report on it, and then come to the CIE format of report writing. Remember, the CIE report format also follows, sorry, the same format that any report does. That is your title, the introduction, the main body, and conclusion. There are just a couple differences, such as writing the subject. And if the report asks you to write the name and the date, where it will go. Okay. So thank you very much. There is nothing, honestly, there is nothing specific to do. Once I post this today's recording in Google Classroom, I'd like you to go through the PowerPoint once again so that you understand. If I have missed any point, you can understand it in a better way. Okay? Please do have a look. जब भी आप लोग class ले लेते हैं, even if it's a live session, I'd suggest that you guys do have a read, because I often write a lot of details once I am posting things on Google Classroom. Okay? So there could be important information that I have written over there. So do go through the Google Classroom as well. Okay? Thank you very much. With that, we come to the end of our lesson. I hope you guys have marked your attendance before leaving.
Yes, ma'am.
Please do check.
Okay, ma'am. Allah Hafiz.
Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, ma'am.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, ma'am.
Anything you do not understand, you are always welcome. You can always ask me, text in whenever you feel like before 2 o'clock. Before 2 o'clock, you can always ask me any question. Yes,
Ma'am, this is gonna be really easy since I did it in England.
future के बाद English की class है बेटा. But English class will not be held. Ma'am Nabha said she won't be taking the class. All right. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.
Allah
Allah
Hafiz.
Hafiz.
That's in Urdu.